Okay, this is lesson 16.1, measures of center. And you might not understand what measures of center is, so the definition for measures of center is just a single number used to describe a set of numerical data. Now, think of measures of center as a big umbrella, and the things under the umbrella could be a mean, could be a mode, could be a median, could be a range. Those would be numbers that would represent a numerical data set. So I know that you've heard mean, median, and mode before, and range probably in 5th grade, but I want to go ahead and reteach that just in case you forgot. The measures of central tendency that we kind of refer to, it groups together mean, median, and mode. And mean is just the average. That's what the teachers use to grade your tests on whenever you get your report card. That is the average of your work for that quarter. Median is the middle, just like a median in the middle of a highway. It's the middle of the highway. Well, median means middle. Mode is most. And range, it's a measure of variation. The range is very easy to get. In fact, it's rather fun to get. The kids always love it. You take your high value of your data and your low value of your data once you put your data in order, and you just subtract the two to get the range. So, here's some more definitions that you probably need to get your brain wrapped around, because these definitions never go away. Every time you talk about statistical data, we're always coming back to mean, median, mode, and range. So mean, actually the definition is just a formula. It's the sum of data values, and it's divided by the number of data pieces that was in that data group. The median, a little bit tricky, but not too bad. There's two different scenarios. The median's always the middle number of your data set whenever you order it from least to greatest, and we'll do one in a minute. If you have an odd number pieces of values, you just use that middle number. But if you have an even number pieces of value, that means you're going to have two middle numbers. What you have to do is add those two middle numbers together and then divide it by 2. That would be your median. The mode means most, and that's the value that occurs the most often. You could have one mode, you could have 2 modes, you could have 3 modes, and so on. And, believe it or not, you could actually have no mode. You can have no mode when each data piece occurs exactly one time, and then that means you have no mode because nothing occurred more than once. And your range is your high value, subtract low value. That actually shows how spread out your data is. Now, there's one little guy, and I wrote him sideways to make sure that we understood what an outlier is. An outlier is going to mess with your data, so you have to be careful whenever you deal with an outlier. An outlier is a data value that is either significantly lower or higher than all of your other data values. An outlier can throw off the mean data set and give a skewed portrayal of the data. So, oh, I didn't cross my T. That bothers me. Hold on. Didn't cross my T and dot my I's. Isn't that awful? There we go. I feel better now. So if you had a question like, okay, so what was the average age of the kids that attended your birthday party? So all the kids that attend the birthday party are probably going to be around your age, but then you have a 2-year-old show up. But if you figure in that 2-year-old with all the rest of the ages, it's going to lower your average because that number is significantly lower than the rest of the data values in the group. So that's what an outlier does. It kind of messes with things. So you just need to be aware of him. Okay, so this is the meat of the lesson right here. You're going to find the mean. That's where we start. We're on page 449. You'll find 449 in the document that you downloaded off of Focus. And the essential question for Module 16.1 is, how can you use measurements of center to describe a data set? Well, your essential answer is, since a measure of center describes a typical value of the data set, you can use either the mean or the median to represent or describe the data. Your vocabulary, a measure of center. A measure of center is a single number used to describe a set of numerical data. A measure of center describes a typical value of the data set. And again, your vocabulary is mean, And it's really not a bunch of words, it's really truly this formula. The sum of the data values, and you're going to divide it by how many pieces of data is in that set. Our first example, and again, this is still on page 449. Your first example is about Tammy. Tammy surveys her friends to find out how many siblings they have, and here's her recordings. She had Amy, Ben, Cal, Dawn, and Ava. Amy had 2, Ben had 3, Cal had 1, Dawn had 1, Ava had 3. So what she did was she modeled it. She used counters. And she put it in another chart, and she used these counters. There's Amy's 2, Ben's 3, Cal 1, Dawn 1, Ava 3. And then she arranged the counters so that each group had the same amount. That means she's moving this counter over here and moving this counter over here. Okay? So, she drew another model that represented that movement. So now Amy has 2, Ben has 2, Cal has 2, Dawn has 2, and Ava has 2. So Tammy can officially say that on average, her friends have 2 siblings. Well, that's great for modeling, but we're in 6th grade now. We need to know how to calculate that. So here's the pieces of data. There's Amy, Ben, Cal, Dawn, and Ava. And we're going to add all of those together. And when you add 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3, you get 10. And how many pieces of data did you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why the denominator is 5. And I just moved that down here. So now I'm going to take my numerator and divide it by my denominator, just like you were simplifying fractions. And you still get the same exact mean average, which is 2. And that's how you calculate it. Okay? So, this is part of your work that you'll have to hand in. This is the notes that's posted in the data file the document that you downloaded from Focus. So you should already have these. Okay? And I wrote the formula right here, but I simplified the formula just a little bit. Mean equals the sum, which is the total of all of the data pieces, and then you're going to divide it by the number of pieces. I just find it's easier to write it that way. So, what you're going to do is you're going to, as soon as that focus is back in, hello, there we go. They're going to do 1, 2, 3 problems. So we're going to add them together and then divide it by the total number of pieces. So for an example, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever this total is going to be, that sum will be divided by 6, okay? Now, here's what you can do. You can either take a picture of your work and you can email it to me at my email address, or you can show me your work during a Zoom meeting. Remember, the Zoom meetings come to your email box every single day with a new password around 10 o'clock. Okay? Now we're going to find the median. We're still in 16.1, finding the median. Example 1, I'm on page 450, and you can find page 450 on the document that you downloaded from Focus. A coach records the distances that some cross-country team members ran last week. Find the median. Now you got to remember, median means middle. The very first thing you have to do is you have to order the data. If you don't put the data in order, you're never going to be able to find that middle piece of data. And here's where I'm getting all the data from. This was the coach's clipboard, and I just rewrote it right here so you knew where I got it from. Putting order and data from least to greatest is not a very hard task. I think you've been doing stuff like that since 2nd grade. So what you do is that you count your pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have an odd number of pieces, so that means the middle number will be my median. I don't have to do anything else. I just take that middle number and I'm done. And make sure that you have an even number of pieces on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case, I do. These are my even numbers of pieces on each side. Okay? So with an odd number of data, you just use the middle number as the median. The median distance of the team members ran 7 miles. Okay? Example number 2, however, is going to show the just slightly difficult one. You're going to find the median of the test scores. The median of these test scores is the same exact steps. You have to place all of the data in order. So I took these test scores right here and I just simply put them in order. 77, 83, 83, 85, 87, 90, 90, 93, 94, 99. Now, when you do like finding the middle pieces of data, you can always use your pointer fingers and start on the outside and then go towards the inside, and you're going to find out that you've got 2 pieces of middle data. So you can't have 2 numbers for your median. You only get 1. So what I need to do is add these 2 numbers together, and that's what I'm doing here, and divide it by 2, because I'm adding 2 numbers together, so I'm dividing it by 2, and that gives me my median. So the median test score is 88 and 5/10, or 88 and a half. I would round it up to 89, but I'm not the teacher in the book. So when you have an even number of pieces of data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's an even number of pieces of data, you take the 2 middle pieces, add them together, divide it by 2 to get your median. Okay? This is also part of what you will show me on Zoom when you do your check-in. Your turn number 3. This is found on page 451. Charlotte recorded the number of minutes she spent exercising in the past 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's her 10 days right there. You're supposed to find the median of the data. The very first thing you're going to do is order your data. So take this data up here and write it back down here and put it in numerical order from least to greatest. You're going to find out that there are 2 middle numbers. The mean of those 2 numbers will be the median. So you're going to add those 2 numbers together, and then you're going to divide it by 2, and that's what's going to give you the median, and that's what you're going to put in the box right here. So that is part of what you're going to show me whenever you check in on Zoom. Okay? The last 2 are so easy. The mode and range, I think, are always the fast ones that I do first because they're just too easy not to. So these are just basically step instructions. Mode means most, and the steps is to order the data. Look to see if a data value is repeating. It's appearing the most. Okay? Remember, there could be no mode, 1 mode, 2 modes, 3 modes, and so on. The range, that's whenever you order your data, you pick the high value and you subtract the low value from it. Okay? That's all you do. And that tells you the distance between the lowest piece of data and your highest piece of data. So here's a set of data to find the mode and range. 82, 82, 67, 71, 68, 86, 67, 71, 75, 66. For both of them, you notice you have to order your data. Oops, you notice you have to order your data for both of them. Okay? So here's where I ordered my data. I took this data right here and I put it in numerical order. Okay? For the mode, look, I've got 2 occurrences of 68, 2 occurrences of 71, 2 occurrences of 82. That means I have 3 modes because I have 3 times where numbers in my data set occurred exactly twice. So that's why it's 68, 71, and 82. For my range, I take my high value, there's my 86, and there's my low value, and I subtract it. And the range of my data is 20. What that means is it's 20 steps from 66 to 86. And then there's all those data pieces in between. And that's all it is for range. Look at the bottom of the document that you downloaded in order to get the homework for this assignment. Make sure you check. Happy learning!